Now let's turn our attention to some tech developments. Google announcing plans to stop using tracking cookies on its Chrome browser by next year. So what does this mean for the protection of your privacy and Chrome business? Stuff magazine editor and tech expert Toby Shepshak is joining us now this lunchtime. Toby, good afternoon, and thank you very much for your time. When I saw this making the news headlines in the last few days, I thought, why is this a big deal?
Well, I thought you were going to say when you saw it making headlines, you thought at last. It's a big deal because cookies have been repurposed from their original reason. The original point of having a cookie was that it's a little piece of software that sits in your browser. And in the early days when you logged onto Gmail and all of us foolishly let the browser save our password for us, it just made it easier for us to log back in, or Facebook or Twitter or whatever. But along the way, the companies, the technology companies, have worked out that actually, apart from just recognizing us, they can do a lot more. They can use that cookie, that software, to track all the stuff we do on the internet, everywhere we go, what we look at, what we read, which shopping sites we go, and all of that information, Dan, creates a fuller picture of who we are online, and therefore the kinds of advertising that can be targeted at us. Of course, the biggest collector of all of this information is Google itself, but because its Chrome browser is the dominant browser in the world, more people use it than any other browser. So it is doing something that looks like it's a privacy win for us citizens. It's not letting third-party browsers, so that's other companies, not the company that you're not the actual website that you're currently on. So it's letting all the third-party cookies. It's no longer letting them function in Chrome. So from next year, all the other companies won't be able to track us, but that doesn't mean Google won't. Google will continue to track us, of course, because that is their business. Their business is making as much money as they can.
Now, Toby, should there be concerns? Yeah, sorry, Toby, to cut in there. Should there be concerns? Then I've seen some comments by privacy experts saying this is a good step, that they're going to stop third-party cookie tracking. But what is concerning them, what solution will Google now implement for itself that can still assure you and me and many of others who use Chrome of our privacy?
Well, they're going to say they are, but they're not. I mean, the bottom line is that Google makes tens of billions of dollars of profit every single year based on the fact that they, let's say 10 billions of profit every year based on what they know about us. They're not going to give that up. They're a company that has pushed the privacy norms. Facebook gets it in the neck. Facebook is the company that we all get angry about, the privacy. But Google is much more pervasive. Remember, if you use Gmail or Google Maps or Google Photos or any of the Google services, Google Meets, that's all more information Google's getting about us. And they data mine that information to sell things. So Google will find a much more sophisticated system that isn't a cookie. Certainly if you're using Chrome or if you're using Android, it can do that. I mean, remember in the past that Android, which Google owns and doesn't give away for free, you have to it insists that you put the Google Play Store for apps and music and all the other stuff. Google used to let people it used to continue to track you even after on an Android phone you'd said you can't track me, and you'd wipe the phone. Google still continued to track you. So they don't have a great record in terms of privacy. It's just that Facebook's worse, so we hear more about Facebook than we do about Google. Most people are going to say, does it bother me? And they'll say no, and they might think they could legitimately conclude that, Dan. But this is our personal information. Somebody is making vast amounts of profits, billions of dollars every year of profit about the things about us that they follow. Why? Well, I'd much rather pay for services than
it's going to
the
be
companies that buy the services from data mine me, their own customer.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this unfolds in the next few months. Thank you very much, Toby Shafshak, just to give us some insights there about this decision by Google to stop cookie tracking by third parties on their Chrome web browser. We'll see how it's going to play itself out. The question is, what will replace that for Google, as Toby Shafshak says, because they make lots of money from knowing about us.